Modern Warfare 2 comes out in just 2 days. The multiplayer in the Spec Ops is going to be ready very soon, and I'm super excited. And I was just scrolling through Twitter, seeing what I could find, and I saw that Infinity Ward had posted a blog post detailing everything that they changed from the beta and what we can expect in the full game, and all of the differences from what we saw in that beta to what we can expect to see come launch in just 2 days. I'm super excited about it, so let's dive into this blog post so that you can understand what they changed. First off, they say, firstly, we cannot say thank you enough to the fans that took time to play our game. We had a record-breaking number of players in our beta, playing more matches than ever before. We also gathered invaluable feedback from our fans and want to take this opportunity to highlight some of the changes we've made in Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer since the beta. First off, they address enemy visibility, which I think is huge. If you remember in the beta, you couldn't tell the difference between an enemy and a friendly. You couldn't tell the difference between an enemy and a dead body. And if someone was laying down, camping in a corner, or camping in a bush, you could honestly not tell if that person was a person or not. So they say, we have added diamond icons above the heads of enemies. This should make it easier for players to clearly identify opponents in the game, which I think is huge. Finally, a way to be able to tell an enemy from a dead body. I can't tell you how many times I ran into someone who was literally laying on B flag, and I couldn't tell if it was an enemy or not because they just sat there. They were camping. There was no way to tell if it was an enemy, if it was a dead body, or you run into people camping in corners, in dark corners, and you can't see if there's someone there. It's going to be nice having that red diamond icon above the enemy so that we can at least tell if they're an enemy player and not a dead body or someone camping in a corner. So we don't get the nameplates, but we at least get a diamond, which is going to be a lot better than nothing. So I'm going to take what I can get and we're going to run with it. They also talked about visibility issues and that they continue to tweak lighting and contrast for improved enemy visibility. Because, oh my goodness, it was bad. There were some really dark areas, and I bet that if there's another dark skin like the Rose skin in Warzone, people are going to be able to hide, so hopefully there's not very many dark corners, or you can still tell the difference between an enemy. They also talked about audio. They talked about footstep audio. It says right here, we've shortened the overall range of footstep audio, which will allow enemy players to get closer to targets before they are able to detect footsteps. We have also continued to tweak teammate footstep audio, which will now be quieter following feedback from the beta. Oh my goodness, this is huge, and I'm super excited about it, because I'm a rusher, and I don't like being punished for playing how I want to play. And it's really going to be nice that we're going to be able to play how we want. They have shortened that footstep audio. Hopefully it's really shortened, because the whole beta, I'm not going to lie, I don't like what I was doing, but I was sitting there, I was listening to footsteps, and I was able to tell exactly where enemies were from across the entire map. And hopefully they have made it so that you can hear them close, so that you can still get the jump on them if they're close, but not so far that it makes it ridiculous. You could hear exactly where someone was with their footsteps because they were so loud, it sounded like they were stomping, or they weighed the amount of an elephant, or they weighed 5,000 pounds, and you could just hear every single step they made. There was also a problem that I had with, I could hear my footsteps, and it was almost covering up the audio of other people, or gunshots, or whatever I needed to find. So this is going to be huge. I hope it's really nice. But they also talked about dead silence. Every time you'd activate dead silence, it would make a really loud ding. It would make a loud ringing noise so that enemies could know that you just activated a field upgrade, which basically defeats the purpose of dead silence. They say the in-world activation sound effect volume range for the dead silence field upgrade has been drastically decreased. I hope that they're not lying when they say drastically, because I got killed by activating my field upgrade, and then I would lose it. I wouldn't get my field upgrade, which is stupid. The whole point of dead silence is to be silent. So hopefully it really is drastically decreased. They went ahead and reiterated that they changed the third-person mode so that you can't ADS unless you have an ACOG or higher. It's just going to tighten your hipfire spread, so it actually makes it a true third-person mode as opposed to just being able to sit ADS'd around a corner and get the drop on anyone and have that huge advantage. That's personally why I didn't like the third-person mode, is because I would just run into players that were ADSing the whole time, which doesn't make any sense. It's a third-person mode. But they go on to talk about weapons, the UI, and movement. And they don't really have much to say besides the fact that they have tuned the weapons, made them a little bit more equal, a little bit more even playing field. They also fixed the UI. They say, we have been working hard on numerous updates to our UI that make accessing and customizing your loadout more seamless. We've made improvements to navigation of menus and will continue to optimize the UX, which is huge because this game's UI and its menus were so confusing. I would get lost. I had to watch videos just to understand what I was doing. I didn't like the fact that the social menu was in the options instead of just pressing triangle on PlayStation, which it's been that for a long time. They didn't say if they changed that or not, but I hope they did, because I thought that was kind of annoying. They also talked about movement and that they fixed a bunch of exploits with movement. So hopefully there's no more bunny hopping, no more of those slide cancels that people were able to find. But I still want the game to feel fast. I don't want it to be punishing you for moving like it was in the beta. So hopefully you can still move fast, you can still get around the map and get where you need to, but they did fix a bunch of exploits. So no more slide canceling exploits that we found, and no more bunny hopping. I did notice that in the campaign that you couldn't do that, and I assume since it's in the campaign it's probably fixed in the multiplayer. They also go on to talk about matchmaking, and they say, we have implemented some changes that aim to reduce lobby disbandment between matches, which I think is huge. Disbanding lobbies every game basically proves that skill-based matchmaking is there so heavily that you have to sweat every time you play. I want to come home from work and I want to just casually play Call of Duty, and hopefully this disbanding lobby thing that they're fixing, or at least toning down, gets rid of a little bit of SBMM, which I understand skill-based matchmaking has been there from the beginning, but ever since Modern Warfare 2019, I feel like it's almost too much. So hopefully it's been toned down back a little bit, and I also hope that there is a way to vote on maps, because that's something I've loved from core Call of Duty. They brought it back in Cold War, but they just haven't had it in other games, recently at least. And I like to vote on my maps. I don't want to be forced into a map that everyone hates, or constantly forced into the same map over and over and over. But that's basically it on the updates they changed from the beta. So there was quite a bit when it comes to sound and audio, when it comes to UI, when it comes to weapons. And at the very bottom of the blog post it says, we'll continue to provide updates through launch and begin tracking all of the issues on our live Trello board for Modern Warfare 2, which we will share soon, which I think is huge. I really hope that they communicate and they're constantly telling us what they're doing, what they're changing, what they're finding, what bugs they're squashing, because when there's no communication, it kind of ruins the game. You don't know if they even know about an issue. Sledgehammer wasn't very good on it this last year, so hopefully Infinity Ward can do better. But I'm super excited for this game. Let me know down below if you guys are excited. Let me know down in the comments if you guys are going to be trying to get the Mastery Camo, which I am. And if you want to stay tuned for my entire journey going through Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, and if you want to stay tuned for my journey getting the Mastery Camos, subscribe. I will be keeping up to date on this channel with all news, updates, tips, tricks, and everything. So please subscribe, hit that like button, and we'll see you in the next one with the newest Call of Duty news. And we'll see you in 2 days when the multiplayer for this game releases so that we can grind out those camos. Thank you.
Kilo 01, you're cleared hot on anything forward of our position. Danger close approved.
Roger that.
Shit, what now?
LT, we got armored vehicles incoming.